President is getting ready to give a major address on AI. Details of the AI action plan will be released today at a summit in Washington called Winning the AI Race. I want to bring in Mark Sullivan, who's a senior writer at Fast Company. He focuses on artificial intelligence and its effects on business and culture. All right, Mark, so what can we expect out of this big, grand AI strategy?
Well, this is going to be the administration's grand plan, which they promised right up front in this new administration. And it's going to cover the most important aspects of promoting AI, both at home and our influence around the world. And it's probably going to contain, in some form, points on what the government can do to increase innovation and clear away barriers to innovation on AI so that the U.S. can take a position of leadership in the world. And that could include some language on what we call woke AI, which XAI's Grok is an example of that. It'll have to do with energy, clearing away barriers to creating new energy sources to power data centers. And it might include some language about what the government can do to help finance some of the innovation that's going to be needed for this push.
So the White House says the plan will promote AI dominance in the world. How does the U.S. plan on doing that when it feels like we're sort of behind the eight ball? Not because of companies like ChatGPT and the others that are managed here, but it does feel like the technology seems to be lagging what we see in other countries.
Well, I think there would be strong disagreement with that opinion, at least here in Silicon Valley. The overriding opinion here is that the U.S. does remain in the lead on AI models and apps, and we even remain in the lead in robotics. But the lead has been growing much smaller, and we feel pressure, competitive pressure from China, especially with what we've seen from them in terms of they've just been releasing a ton of humanoid robots over the last year. And, they've made some big progress on AI models like DeepSeek. So there's definitely been some pressure, and that's firing up this sort of competitive race, which sets the stage for the AI action plan that we're going to hear about today.
Yeah, and I guess I should clarify that I meant that that it feels as if the technology is being used by other countries more efficiently than it has been here in the United States. And the other big question that I have, and I've talked about this with our Money Watch correspondent, Kelly O'Grady, you need a lot of water and electricity and space to store AI equipment. Many low-income communities of color specifically have been outspoken about having some of these facilities going up in their neighborhoods. But talk about that impact. I mean, do we have here in the United States enough electricity to power this AI revolution when the grid, for example, goes down in Texas whenever there's really bad weather there?
Yeah, it's a point of contention. The tech companies are saying that we don't have enough power. We've got to remember that what makes this AI thing work is that they figured out how to apply a ton of computing power to the English language, to process the English language and work out its secrets. So that means that for every time these models work, they need a huge data center. And these things are just sprawling behemoths that need a lot of land. They need a lot of electricity, mainly for cooling. And so the demand is very high. Anthropic, one of the AI companies here in San Francisco, says that we need 50 gigawatts of new power, which is about 50 Hoover dams just in 2027 to power these data centers. And what we've seen so far is, building these things. I think the fear is that the environmental considerations, the permitting considerations may be pushed aside by the government potentially to clear the way for the build of these big data centers.
Really interesting. Mark Sullivan, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you.